Good afternoon. Gone detecting. It's blowing a gale here, surprise, surprise. Look, can you see it? Can you see it? That's an oldie. Oh, I think it's got something on it. Yeah, we're going to get something off that. This is an old one. My goodness. Come on. Yeah, we got some good detail on there. I think this is Britannia's side. Could be George I, II. Could be a William. Right. Yeah, nice little find that. Anyway, it will clean up and it will be identified, so we'll give it a clean up a bit later on when we get home. Catch you all later. Oh, woohoo! Can you see it? It's a deep one. Thought it was a silver, but I know exactly what it is. It's a George II, 1806 or 1807 penny. The one after the cartwheel. Yeah, it's a bit on the blank side, but that's exactly what it is. Actually, it's the same size as a Cornish penny as well. Now, yeah, you can tell around the edge there. There's a tiny little groove running all around the edge, which those pennies had, which make them identifiable in this state. Okay, well, that's alright. It's better than blimmin' can slaw, that's for sure. On to the next one. Oh, look what I found, look what I found. Can you see it? I'm sorry about the wind. Oh dear, let's try and get a bit of... Oh my goodness. I thought it was a hammer to start with. Screech, talk about blew my head off. It's a George. Very nice. My first ever George. I think that's the second shilling. Nice. Well, look at that. Right. Off we go again. Well, look what I just found. Can you see it? What is that? Anyway, oh, dearie me. Isn't that nice? Well, there you go. Don't know what to say now. George II shilling. And now hammered. I be lost for words. Right. I'll be here for another 8 hours now. Sorry about the wind, I'm only using the phone. Well, there you go. Catch you later. Next decent hole. I nearly never touched that. Cheers. Well, wasn't this a good day? Right. Before we clean these up, these are still fresh, freshly dug condition. Been out so few times this year, guys. I do apologise. Been quite busy trying to do tons of stuff. And the rest of the time has been taken up with recuperating. Yeah, had a lot of problems with pain this year so far, especially this summer. But anyway, that's enough of that. But the times I've been out, I've found, well, just usual stuff, a few buttons here and there. I've lost, well, just not very much at all. Hardly any worth filming. And but there, anyway, this was a trip the other day to a place that's been searched and searched and searched and searched and searched. And been there a couple of times. Found just a few bits. Just, I think the best thing I found was what was it? A farthing. George V farthing, I think. A few usual buttons and bits and bobs, but musket ball, that's about it. Tons of can slaw. But anyway, there's one field that, I don't know what I'm waffling away. Are you looking at them coins? Yeah, that's it. You tell me what they are, look. Yeah, so there's a field that I haven't really done an awful lot in. Been in there a few times, found nothing. And I know it's been done and done and done, but found nothing. And I thought, well, I don't know, there's just something about the field, you know. So I thought, nah, next time I think I'm going to go down there. I got a feeling. Well, anyway, I went down there and got nothing, you know. Went where I'd sort of been before, found nothing. And right in the middle of the field I found a spot, a hotspot. And there was something in the middle of the field where the grass or the crops have been cut. It's just like barley stalks. But there was a big, well, not big, it looked like some sort of footprint of something. And there was a lot of bits and pieces. So let's give you a tour of these while I'm waffling away. There's a lot of bits and pieces. And I found a patch full of pistol balls, pistol balls. So what the heck was done in this field, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to call it the dueling field. But anyway, so I was there for a while, didn't find nothing in the other field, so I went down there. And not far off this spot where the patch started to get pretty active with all sorts of bits and bobs, copper and buttons, and I all of a sudden got this screaming signal, a real screaming signal, and I thought, oh my goodness, that sounds nice. And this little beauty comes up. Now this is a first for me. I think, I mean, it needs cleaning, but I filmed it fresh in the hole, or fresh out of the hole on the pile. I think it's a KG2 silver shilling. So this is in freshly dug condition. So we're going to give him a good old wash and brush up. I wanted to film them fresh out of the ground. And then in another patch of musket balls and some really nice buttons too. I thought, oh no, he's a knackered old halfpenny, modern halfpenny, and then I thought, hang on a second, it's a little bit out of shape. And then I saw the cross on it and little dots, and I thought, oh my goodness, I can't remember the last time I found a hammered. And I dug it so, I've no idea again, it needs cleaning, but I think there's a bust in the middle there. It's a pretty, I'd say it's a pretty old one. And then on the way back, on the footpath I'd already done, blow me, went over a patch in the hedge which was full of cans and rubbish I pulled out, and got this little tiny squeak, high tone squeak, and I thought, oh, what's that? Oh, it's a bit of old can slaw again, and I nearly gave up, and blow me, this came up. Late Victorian, 18, can't read it, we'll look at it when it's cleaned up. Late 1800s anyway, old head, Victoria, threepenny bit. I couldn't believe it. What a day. Now, I'm going to clean these 3 coins now. Now, I will say this before I start. I will make a disclaimer. Not everybody will probably agree with this method of cleaning silver coins, especially valuable silver coins. But I will say this in my defence. At the minute, you know, it's a hard job to identify this particular coin, for instance. It's a hammered silver coin, but it looks a bit crusty, a bit grotty. Now, you can't see the bust side, but I can tell you now it'll come up really, really, really nice. I know it will. I mean, you know, what can you see on there? You can sort of see something. This side, you've got more detail, but I can tell you now that's going to come up fantastic. Really fantastic. Now, I will say one thing, first of all. You've got to make sure, it's very important, this bit, you've got to make sure that there's no grit or gravel left on the coins, or anything, dirt. They've got to be dead clean of anything abrasive. So that's very important. Now, I'll spare you the nasty bit, but this method is quite unpleasant. If you're squeamish, shove your fingers in your ears now. Right, okay. There are different ways of doing this method, but basically this method, it involves using saliva and tin foil. Sounds pretty disgusting, right? But boy, does it work. And all you do basically, get your coin and spit on it, make sure it's covered all over, and wrap it up in the tin foil. Now, you'll notice that it might get quite warm. Now, what's happening is there's a chemical reaction. So, oh dear, here we go. There's a chemical reaction. Now, I must say I was very good at chemistry, and this is one reason why I don't mind using this method for clean. But make sure you've got your windows open. Oh, jeez. Oof. There's one nasty side effect. What happens basically is there's a reaction between the tin foil and the coin, and it's basically what normally would happen in the battery. Oh man, it's nasty. Oh boy, oh boy, you've got to do it a few times. But you can rub it, but again, if there's any grit left in there, you're going to be in trouble because you'll scratch. Now it's getting really hot now. What's happening is because of the two dissimilar metals. Oh, one of the metals is I can have to open the windows wide. Oh god, that's bad. You could actually do this outside because it's really not, it's just nasty. Basically what happens is between the saliva, the tin foil and the coin, the aluminium acts as a, now if you look you might see, I'll show you in a minute. Now I'll have to do it, I'll have to show you in a minute, but oh god dear. What happens is there's a reaction between the saliva, coin and aluminium, and what's happening is the black corrosion on the coin, I can't remember the chemical formula now, oh dear, but the saliva's got sulfur silver sulfide, yeah, that's it. What happens is the aluminium acts as a sacrificial anode. This is what like they do with boats or galvanized paint. What happens is the two dissimilar metals, say a zinc block on the hull of a steel boat, say, or zinc paint in an iron or steel chassis. What happens is because of the two dissimilar metals, the zinc will sacrifice itself over and it'll coat the steel with the oh dear, oh it's terrible. But the trouble is with this method, the aluminium reacts with the silver sulfide. It turns the black silver sulfide, it releases the sulfur to make what is it? Ouch! Rotten egg gas, basically, and it's terrible. It stinks. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take the coin and give it a wash off a minute because it's a bit nasty, and then we'll do it again. Well, right. This is just the first attempt. Bearing in mind all I've done, I just washed the coin with water, got a bit of tin foil, a little bit of saliva, coated the coin and sandwiched the two together, the foil both sides into a sandwich over the coin, and just squeezed it together. Now look at the result so far. Isn't that different? Now what we're going to do is you're going to do that again, and that should do it. And then we're going to give it a just bring out the highlights a bit, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Right, now this is the second attempt. Look, now I'm going to leave it at that for the minute because I'm going to show you the next, where is it, there we go. I'm going to leave it like that for the simple reason is the next step will bring out the detail. Now some coin collectors are not going to like this, but I can assure you it won't do any damage. Right, 2 seconds, I'll just get it a second. Right, next step. Ouch. Now you've got to be careful with this because you've got to make sure there are different types of these things. You really ruin your coin if you get the wrong one. So I would test it on something first, a bit of brass or something, or a brass coin, copper coin, whatever. A bog standard communal garden rubber, pencil rubber, but you've got to make sure, you've really got to make sure it's not the variety with grit in it, because some of them have got a coarse grit, and if you you know, you're going to make a right mess of your coin. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to bring the detail out on this. Now, oh, not in focus, not in the frame. Right, I need to get in the frame, otherwise you don't going to see nothing. Hey, right. There we go. What we do now, just very carefully, make sure there's nothing on the end of there that's going to scratch either. We just very gently now, I don't know if you can see what's happening there. I certainly can. Don't rub so hard that, but what you're trying to aim for is bring out the details. So, as I say, do your coin in your tin foil a couple of times, or until there's just a little bit of oxide, or silver sulfide rather, in the grooves or the low points, so that when you clean up the... Now I'll say again, this is not harming the coin in any way, it's not scratching it, it's not doing anything untoward, but you've got to make sure there's no grit on it, and make sure you're not using a grit rubber or coarse rubber. Very, very, very gently. You don't have to press very hard. I can see words, I can see a head. Ooh. As I say, not everybody will agree with this, but it's going to be an awful lot better than when we started. Can you see it? Is that better? Right, well this thing's been heavily clipped by the looks of it. You can see the ring there, there would have been words on the outside there, but it's been badly clipped. Now we can do the other side now. This other side's going to come out fantastic. Now you watch this. Ooh, look at that, look at that. At first I thought it was an Eddie, an Edward, but I'm really not sure now. It's certainly one I've never found. Oh, we've got a date. Is that a date? I hope we are. I bet we haven't got a date. I bet it's been clipped off. That'd be about right. Please, pretty please. Oh, got to be careful. Don't want to clean up too much. Just enough. Oh, is that numbers? Right. Does that look any better? Is that any better? Do you think? Well, let's have a look. What on earth? Well, it's got a long cross. 3 dots. I can't see a date. Dang. Well, there you go. That's one. One down, 2 to go. Now, I'll show you something in a minute. See what I mean? What happens is this black silver sulfide, it does no harm because the tin foil is eaten away and released as aluminium sulfide gas, which is the rotten egg smell. And to be honest, if you want to have a bit of a laugh, if there's anybody else in, don't say nothing. Don't tell them what you're doing, and see if see if they say anything. It really does smell rotten. It's really, it's not good. Ah dear. Yeah, so there you go, that's one. Let's go and do the others. Back in the morning. Right, you ready for this? Now this is proof of what I'm just saying about the tinfoil sacrificial process. Now, I don't know, can you see that? That's where the corrosion has gone straight through the aluminium, and you can see the points that are dissolved most are the points with the most corrosion. So that aluminium just joined with the sulfur and been given off as a gas, a stinking rotten nasty gas. So don't tell any of your family that you're doing this, just just for a laugh, see what happens. It really is bad, believe me, it's awful. Yeah, dear. So anyway guys, there you go. That's it, I've had enough, I'm going. Bye.